Alright, so for those who have been waiting, here is an update on my video that you all saw, well, that a lot of people saw, about Exodus Cry. I've made a couple posts, but I figure, a video is better. The first thing I want to say is that neither me or my wife hate our mothers. Yes, was there issues in childhood and did things happen? Yes. But my mother has earned her master's degree. She has worked to restore wrong things. She took on a nephew who had cerebral palsy and epilepsy. It is, my experience is not entirely her fault. My mother survived years of verbal domestic abuse. I mean, it was horrifying. The safe houses was never explained to me, or actually ever fully explained to my wife. If we would have known what the safe houses actually were, she wouldn't have been working there. And after I found out what they were and what their point was, yes, security protocol, I agree with. No one should know where they are. Agreement. Exodus Cry had the right protocol in place. They just didn't communicate it to the employee and the husband. Hey man, this is why you can't know. There's some actually serious cases that we're watching over. Only certain people can know. Do you trust us enough for your wife to work here? That's all. That's as simple as conversation as it would take. Women who are coming out of dangerous situations deserve to be fully protected. Now, Keisha had a master's degree, not a bachelor's. I thought she was working on her master's, but what she was working on was getting her 3,000 clinical therapy hours to become a licensed therapist on her own. So she was working under someone, which means they had a therapist working with serious human trafficking survivors that didn't have any experience. So to me, I mean, is it legal? Yeah. Is it dumb? Yeah. They did have a licensed social worker on staff too. I don't know who this person was. I was never introduced to this person. My wife was never introduced to this person, but they existed. Now, Exodus Cry does agree that the adoption never should have happened. All the parties involved, except probably Keisha, who we haven't talked to in years, agree that never should have happened. But they have not in any way offered to undo it. But as of today, Exodus Cry apparently outsources all of their people that come in, all the girls that come in seeking help, seeking information. They outsource them, and they mostly outsource them to non-Christian organizations. Now, some of the social media claims, like this one here, just completely false. Now, if someone shows me facts that proves me wrong on this, then I'm wrong on this. But to my knowledge, no one at IHOP KC on a leadership level would support the death penalty for someone in an LGBTQ situation. Do they agree with that lifestyle? To my knowledge, Exodus Cry, no. Even on their website, there's no statements or anything like that. And historically, they have not agreed with that lifestyle as it goes against biblical principles. But again, I cannot speak for Exodus Cry at this moment. I do not know what their stance is, as I couldn't find it. Me personally, you be you. Gay, straight, trans, bi, doesn't matter. I don't care. If you have skin and blood and breathe air, you're human, you're important, you're a person, you're just like me. I was born with autism. I didn't get to choose it. So neither do people who are in that lifestyle. It's just part of our genetic makeup. And then statements like this. Unless you have proof, don't make statements like this. Because, to my knowledge, Benji wrote articles like this. So, I think if he would have had any evidence of Jane Doe, he would have come forward. Did he hear rumblings or something? Who knows? I can't speak to that. But he definitely didn't hear enough that he would be able to present a case. Or I do think he would have. Now, the IHOP KC part, their statement, Bickle not having any involvement. If you go to my Twitter, you will see that in 2009, Exodus Cry is listed as part of the Justice Initiative launch on IHOP KC's websites in Mike Bickle's notes. From 2009 to around 2011 and 12, in order to be on staff at Exodus Cry, you had to be on staff at IHOP. My wife had to do intro to IHOP. Even the CEO they brought in to run the day-to-day ministry kind of aspects of Exodus Cry and the financials, he had to do intro to IHOP. The security guard had to do intro to IHOP. You had to be part of IHOP until they got their 501c3. Now, despite the legal separation in 2012, Lenny LaGuardia was on the board until 2018. Benji spoke at IHOP until 2019. And so to say that there's no relationship, to make out like there is no ties and that Exodus Cry did not start from the prayer room, is just misleading. It is causing more contention because it feels like another member of our community is completely lying to us or twisting the truth to back away from the situation with Mike Bickle. That is why this part is such a big deal. It just feels like more dishonesty from something that we all witnessed. The work that they have done to get internet sites to remove things with kids and unwanted content is something that's commendable. No one wants their abuse blasted across the internet. So I have no problem with people being against abuse and that abuse being broadcasted. I don't think any, there's people, but any decent human would be fully against that. Personally, though, I do not agree with their stance on OnlyFans and the adult industry at all. Do whatever you want. It's your life. We get one time around. If that's what you choose, that's what you choose. I would actually suggest that they sit down with some women, some moms that are doing OnlyFans and not just find these horrible exploitive stories of tragic situations, but they would find the thousands on thousands on thousands of good situations. Benji has expressed willingness to have dialogue, which I very much appreciate. He wrote a letter to me. I wrote one back. I didn't necessarily feel that his letter covered much, but questions that I have been asked a lot was one about my drinking. I was not the type of drinker that would drink and pass out and not work and just be completely miserable, detached, abusive, and all of that. That was not me. I was a fully present father. I was working 2 jobs. I was getting my life insurance. I got my life insurance license, was trying my hand in life insurance, was working construction on the side. Their alcohol was a masking of, was it killing me? Yes. Was I 300 pounds? Yes. But alcohol was a mask that allowed my autistic meltdown, burnt out brain to function. You can ask my wife to this day if I was present, and she will tell you yes. But were we struggling with formula being $31 a can and rent being high and not making money at life insurance because if you don't sell, you don't get paid? Yeah, we were struggling, and our water got shut off. My wife calls and is melting down and is having an autistic meltdown, even though, didn't know they had autism, even though counselor should have clearly saw that. And his response was, instead of calling me and being like, "Hey man, what's going on? Like, are you working?" Like, instead of checking in on those things, instead of asking those questions, instead of getting a feel for what's going on, it was, "Hey, you're a piece of, and I'm gonna kick your ass." Also, we had asked over and over and over to get my wife properly diagnosed by someone, and every time it was met with, "It's just trauma and I need to be more understanding." That was the extent of the conversation. But getting back to the story, when you come at an autistic person who has PTSD that way, that conversation just goes one way, especially when you threaten to come and take the family and you tell the wife that the only way that she'll ever interact with Exodus Cry, who she considers her only family besides me and her kids, again, is if she leaves me. Remove the autism, because they didn't know. Remove Christianity. As a leader of an organization of human trafficking, when you are having a person who is in your community have these issues, is this how you respond? For any leader? Now add Christianity. Is this how you respond? After this, we truly did lose the only support system that we had, because we had isolated ourselves from everyone else, from all the other communities, and we were trusting ourselves to this one group of people that had promised to be our family, and then they were completely gone. And then I didn't struggle with holding down a job because of my autism. I didn't struggle with holding down a job because of my PTSD and stuff like that until I quit drinking. It was actually working as a medicine, even though it was killing me and totally wrong, and there's much better solutions to it. Like, don't drink. Don't. Alcohol is absolutely poison. Stay completely away from it. Not even as a Christian, just as a person. After this loss, after this blow up, this is where everything fell apart for my family. This is when all of the struggles started, and we haven't recovered since. And it was capped off last year with the Bay Lake story that is on my Facebook if you care to go watch. So yeah, there's the update. We are all hoping to work this out for the best. Really. I applaud Exodus Cry for the work that they do to make sure that stuff that shouldn't be on the internet is not on the internet. I applaud them for making the changes that they made to outsource all of the counseling and things like that. Great job. Absolutely great job. But you still have this lingering past that needs to be accounted for.